Hello, guys, and welcome to the Cozy Niche. Let's get started.
Cozy Niche with Jersey Girl. Yes, indeed. So thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Yes, for the Cozy Niche. I thank you guys so much for tuning in. It is 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and y'all already know how it goes. So we are continuing our discussion for Women's Month. Yes, it is the month of March, and I am so excited to be able to celebrate Women's History Month. During this particular month, we had Black History Month last month, and now we jumping on over to the women. Yes, as we continue to highlight major accomplishments that these awesome women have made. And so I want to make sure that I highlight and we get into discussing women's health. So as you guys can see from the title, it is women's health. Let's talk about it. Fibroids. Yes. So if you guys have not already, begin to like, love, share, and follow Jersey Girl Cozy Niche here on Facebook, as well as on IG, as well as the YouTube channel. I really hope that you guys will go ahead and take the time to do it. Why? Because we real up in here. Jersey Girl Cozy Niche covers all things home, family, decor, DIY projects, personal growth and development. We are here for you. So I want to be able to welcome onto the stage the one, the only, Miss Minyette Young of My Collection. So thank you. There she is. Hey, Minyette. Hey, girl.
Hey.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you coming on this evening to join us on the Cozy Niche. And so, Minyette, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, no problem. First of all, hello, audience. I am Minyette, and I am the owner and founder of My Collection. Of course, y'all already know what it is. It ain't no game around here. I am born and raised in Louisiana, grew up in Mississippi. Shout out to both. Living in League City now, and my career, I'm in human resources for a nonprofit organization that I've been with for about 6 years now. And I am recently engaged and will be soon a wife. Yeah, that's a little bit about myself. I am so, when I come to the Cozy Niche, baby, I get real excited. Yes,
well, we'd be excited to have you here on the Cozy Niche. So I want to be able to, of course, as you know, you're talking and and I'm moving my head.
Come on with it.
I'm just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about, I know you mentioned, working in human.
It's the earrings for me.
Is it
earrings for me? It's the earrings for me.
Something about these angles. Oh,
talk about the angles with the hair, with the skin, with yes, ma'am.
So obviously, guys, y'all know that I am rocking My Collection. And then, of course, these beautiful earrings that Minyette is rocking. Why don't you tell us a little bit about My Collection, my dear?
These are glass house that I have on today. My Collection is my little baby. That's my baby. But anyway, My Collection birthed in the middle of a pandemic, believe it or not. I was pushed to do more. I was pushed to be passionate about my purpose. I've always loved jewelry. I always loved accessories. I'll throw anything on, Yolanda. And Jersey girl, you know how we do.
Yes,
and,
we
and so now I am actually doing something that I love, something that I've always done anyway. So it feels fun to me. So my collection, there's jewelry, there's purses. I just added hats. I just added sunglasses, and it's so much more coming. Yes.
Don't we know it? Don't we know it? So we are loving the diversity of my collection. So we want to make sure that we are giving a shout out to those that are in the chat room. We got Miss Laura in the house. Hey, girl. That's my girl, Laura. I'll be seeing her in a couple of days. Miss Shantae Pittman says, hey, ladies.
Hey, Shantae. That's my girl.
We are also welcoming Monique. Hey, Monique. How you doing,
Monique, girl?
Yes, thank y'all so much for tuning in. So I want y'all to make sure that y'all are repping where y'all are catching us from. Are you live? Are you going to catch us on the replay? And make sure that you are doing what? Shouting out your city. Because like Minyette said, she was born in Louisiana. But then she was raised
Shout out. The boot.
Like that. Like that's a nice stuff. And as y'all know, obviously, Jersey girl. Work.
Jersey girl, what's your city, Jersey girl?
Long Branch, New Jersey. That's
Come on with it.
Where reside. Where you like to
reside.
reside.
That's where it resides. I love it.
All the way live. So let's go ahead and get into this discussion, guys. So last week, you guys got a chance to, hear from Charlotte, aka Mommy, okay, in regards to women's health, taking care of our health, care down there, and it was more so changes with age. And so it was put out there to say, hey, there was a lot of different conversation that came from that, which was wonderful. And I extended it out to my Cozy Niche fam and said, hey, why don't y'all tell me if y'all want to be able to share something? And so Miss Minyette jumped on in. So I want to ask you, Minyette, what about last week's discussion intrigued you to step up and say, hey, you know what? I want to be able to, talk about what's going on.
Well, first of all, your mom was so transparent about her story and what she had going on, and I enjoyed that show. And it made me like, you know what? She was so comfortable to talk about what she went through and her situations and things like that. And you never know how it helps somebody else. So that just pushed me. I was like, you know what? That's something that I don't do. I don't share my story and what I experienced in my womanhood as far as difficulties when it comes to fibroid tumors and your period and things like that. So when I heard her talking about it, I was like, oh yes, I need to talk about it. I need to share my experience because it may help somebody else that may be going through the same thing right now. So what better time to do it in the month of March where we're already celebrating women?
That's what I'm talking about. That right there in and of itself, that is one of the great things I love about the circle that I'm a part of and that I have around me is that we are always looking to be able to support, uplift, and encourage each other and whatever it is that we're doing. And to know that's your heart. I'm grateful to be around other women that is their heart and their desire as well is to do that. So I want to know from you, how did you learn about your menstrual? Was it school? Was it home? Or was it a mix of both?
Well, I was the only girl. So I had two brothers and I was the only girl. So my mom was very, me and her was like, we was best friends. We was girls. And so my mom, she taught me, she walked me through it. I didn't have any bad times on, didn't know what was going on. The communication was very clear. And I was at school when I started mine. I think I remember being at school and my mom explained to me how this was going to be and showed me what I needed to do and how to keep yourself clean. And then when you go somewhere, you make sure you put your pads in your purse and put enough of them. Don't just take you one, take you plenty. And that way, you know, you will always be prepared. So I was lucky and blessed to be able to have someone like her that kind of walked me through it hand in hand.
That is an amazing thing, because as you heard me talk, you know, as me and my mom were talking last week, you know, we talked about the pink book, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that, you know, my mom, you know, that I know in discussions with my mom is that, you know, the age that she grew up in, like she said, a lot of it was children were seen and not heard. And it's a lot of things just swept under the rug. Just a lot of things just weren't discussed. And then it was just like, okay, like, you know, she had shared herself that when it happened for her, it was like, you know, my great grandmother was all, gal, this is what you need to do. And it's just like, wow. So she got a crash course when it actually happened versus me. My mom, she took the time when we were in the second grade, when I was in the second, third grade, to tell me exactly, this is what this is. And this is what you prep up for. So before it happened, my mom was already prepping us. So that is definitely something that I love about my mom, is that she believes in equipping us in advance. And some people may feel like, you know, why you share that so fast? And I'm like, because you never know when something is going to happen, and you want to make sure that your children are prepared. I think that as a mom, that is something that happens a lot. I'm going to say we have Miss Shantae Pittman. She said that my mom taught me, only girl also, no big sisters to school me, but thank God I was home when it first started. Girl, yes.
Yes.
Were you at home when yours started, or were you in school, or were you someplace else, Minyette?
I was at school. I was at school when I started. I can't remember the exact age, but I was at school. But I had previous conversations. My mom had already kind of winged me on it before. So I was a little prepared, you know, before the time. So that was very helpful too.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. So I would like to ask you, what are some of the signs that you noticed about fibroids?
So I had actually just moved to Texas. You know, I had been in Mississippi, but I had irregular periods always, seemed like to me. But when I moved to Houston, I started working at a bank, and my monthly period started to get heavy to where I could not function heavy. I would literally pack a bag every day that I go to work with extra clothes, extra pads, extra underwear, because I didn't know how my day would go. I didn't know. And with fibroids, you bleed a lot. Not only do you bleed a lot, but you have a lot of pain. It's a lot of pain. And so I knew that something was wrong. I knew it. I talked to my mom. My mom had a history of it. And I ended up going to see a doctor, and the doctor told me that it was normal. Hey, you're getting in the older age, you're getting out of your 20s, this is normal. And so I just thought it was normal. I just went on every day. But it got to where my blood levels started dropping because I was literally on a period for months.
Oh, wow.
Not days, months. So for months, I packed a bag going to work every day. And my job was very, very active. So imagine being out in Houston heat.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, on the streets of Houston, moving around, marketing, doing this and that. And having to make sure every time you stop somewhere, you go to the bathroom and you get your little bag. Nobody knew what my little bag was for because I never really said it. I just, I just got to make sure I take extra stuff. But it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing on the days where I did have accidents, where I did have to leave work and go home and go take a bath and come back. And I would just say, I got to go home and get something. I never just told details. But so it was a lot. It was very, very stressful.
Yeah. I remember, because I also dealt with fibroids, and I remember, the time frames of things. I also had an irregular cycle. So like literally, I didn't even know when I was pregnant with my first son, because I would miss a month and then double up in the next. And so it was like, okay, well, I'm not exactly sure. I'm like, when was the last time? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, and just here recently, before I had, you know, a procedure done, you know, just embarrassing because I was riding the bus, and then here I am going to work and having to cross a busy street, and just the embarrassment of it. And like you said, yes, the embarrassment, the time frame that you're on your feet and you're moving around, all that stuff makes all the difference in pain. You know, it does not.
And also in the heat, you know, you out in the heat, that make it so much worse because, you know, it's so hot in Houston, and you spending 8 hours outside, you know, doing different stuff for the company, but yet and still you going through your own problems and your own situation at the same time. And you're not going to come out, a woman's not going to just come out and be like, you know what, this is what's going on with me. You just kind of have to make it go. You know, you have to make it work every day. And that's kind of just what I did.
Yeah. Yes, that in and of itself. So I heard you say that, you know, that your mom also dealt with fibroids. Was there anyone else in your family that also dealt with fibroids? Was it just on the maternal, or was it maternal and paternal?
It was my mom and my grandmother. So my mom, she dealt with it as well. And my mother had them earlier on. I was in my late 20s when I found out that was my issue. I don't know how long I had been suffering with it, but by the time that I found out that I had them, they was a big size. They was already, you know, big. So never know how long I really struggled with the fibroids. But yes, my mom and my grandmother had them.
Oh, and then how difficult that must have been for them too. You know, going to dip into something just a little personal that I can share for myself. You know, guys in the chat, y'all feel free to go ahead and drop your comments if this is resonating with you guys. If, you know, you definitely are able to come into camaraderie with what Minyette has shared. But even, you know, intimate times, painful, painful. You know, because some of them can be the size of a grape, of a golf ball, and some size of a grapefruit, you know, and
that's true.
They can be various different sizes. And so, and then if they burst, because, you know, it's cysts also. Exactly. So the fibroids and the dermoid cysts, you know, it's a lot. It is a lot. Yeah. So thank you so much for, you know, sharing that with us in regards to, you know, the family history of it, because this is something that we do need to talk about. Like I said, when my mom, so much was just shoved under the rug. And this is information that we need to have. We need to be armed with, because when we go to the doctors, what do they ask you? Does your mother, your father, do you have a family?
Exactly. You know, Yolanda, I remember when I had to do my FMLA paperwork for the job, because I was going to, you know, have to have surgery. And I was so big on my doctor not writing on the documents what I was getting, you know, what surgery I was getting and why, because I was just that embarrassed. Like, I didn't want, you know, and for a long time I didn't talk about it. My close friends knew, oh yeah, Minyette's having the surgery, but they knew what I was doing. But I didn't just tell people, you know, this is what I'm doing, this is my problem, because yeah, it was a sensitive spot. It was a kind of a shame thing that I was experiencing that. And I didn't know that it was that common. I just a few years ago found out that, oh wow, it's a lot of women that struggle through this. It wasn't just my story. It's a lot of women that struggle with this.
Yes, yes, indeed. And that's the thing. If we're keeping it all to ourselves and we're not opening up and talking about it, and then having a safe place for it too, because like you said, you were keeping it because you felt embarrassed about it and not realizing that, and keeping it to yourself, how many other women also kept it to themselves. So suffering in silence. And, you know, we don't have to do that if we're able to be vulnerable and transparent with each other and be able to, hey, I'm dealing with this. Hey, I dealt with that. I remember before I made the decision to get the ablation surgery, I was on the bus coming from a job I was working downtown, and the pain was so bad where I couldn't even lift my leg. I had a hard time getting off the bus, and I was literally moving like a wounded animal. to my vehicle, and I was very concerned because there was a vehicle that was kind of moving around in the parking lot, very suspicious, like with tinted windows. And I just thank God that there was a person there, a woman there that was also parked. And I thank God. I think she saw the condition that I was in, and she also saw the vehicle that was kind of circling around. And thank God this woman was parked directly in front of me. And I finally made it to my vehicle and was able to get in and lock the door.
Wow.
Okay. And, I was beyond myself at that point in time because I was, calling for help, and I wasn't able to get the help that I needed. And that was very disappointing in and of itself, and hurtful at the same time as well. And it was just like, I'm in this situation and I'm reaching out for help, and it didn't come. Yeah. But God did make a way to where someone was there, and it worked out really good. I'm grateful for that. So tell us about, I know you were saying it was very, very painful and obviously hurtful and embarrassment portion of it. And you mentioned that you had the FMLA paperwork. So what type of procedure exactly did you have?
So I had 3 fibroids at the time. My biggest one was the size of a golf ball. And that the biggest one was on top of my bladder. So not only that I had the fibroids, but also I couldn't control my bladder. So I could be standing up talking to you, and I didn't know I had to use the bathroom, and that's just that. Yes. So I was dealing with both of that at the same time because my tumor was on top of my bladder. So someone told me about a doctor at UTMB. Shout out to Dr. John Phelps. That is my boy. But somebody told me about him, and he introduced me to the myomectomy. It was a new procedure that they can just cut your navel open, and they can, pull it out from that way. And so I was excited. I was like, yeah, but really the myomectomy basically is not a whole hysterectomy, not taking any of your major parts or things out that you need to have a child or things like that. Basically just going in to get the fibroids, and that's it. So that's kind of what a myomectomy is. That's the procedure I had. It was very expensive. It was a little bit more to have that, but I was grateful to be able to have that procedure. The only bad thing is I was expecting to just get back, cute and sexy. So when they cut my navel in the surgery, the tumors was too big to come out the way they planned. So in the middle of the surgery, they came out to let my mom know, family and friends that, okay, what we planned is not going to work. We're going to have to go ahead and cut her and get them out quick. They're bigger than what we expected. So I ended up still having to get the cut to go ahead and get the tumors out. But originally it was the myomectomy, and I did get the myomectomy. I just couldn't get the suctioning part of it out. So yeah, I was pleased. I didn't have any problem. My doctor was highly rated. He had every bit of 2,000 positive reviews about surgeries he had done. So I was comfortable with him, and he done the photo shoot while he done the surgery because it was like his 3rd or 4th time doing the myomectomy. And so I used to have like a little photo book with the tumors in it and him in there taking them out. I don't know what happened to that book, but I kept it for a while because I used to look back and just be like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. But yeah, it was a very successful procedure.
Wow. Now, see, that's very interesting because, this is my first time hearing of what do you call it again? A myomectomy?
Myomectomy.
Myomectomy. And then what I had was the ablation surgery. Okay. And that was, so the ablation was basically the way that my doctor explained it was basically, if you can imagine an umbrella going up through the canal and opening up, and then took away it. So it took away the lining of the uterus. Mm-hmm. So that way that a fertilized egg wouldn't have it ain't nothing for it to latch onto, ain't nothing for it to hold on to. So that's why I call all the championships with no ring. And I was definitely, pleased with that option for me, because I didn't want to, have a partial or a full hysterectomy. To do the full hysterectomy, because then that would mean, having hormone replacement, and I didn't want the partial either. So the ablation was what was going to work out best for me. So it's good to know that there are different options, because like my mom said, back then it was the doctors telling you. But now we are so armed with information now, y'all.
Exactly.
We're not just limited in being able to have doctors that you can be able to go to and say, you know what, can we explore this? Can we explore that?
Exactly.
And so I heard you say male doctor. So your doctor, your OBGYN was a male doctor.
He was a male doctor. He had been at UTMB for 15 years. Just about 2 months ago, he decided to move to Vegas and live the rest of his life on the high. So I miss him already. Anyway, yes, he was a male doctor, and he just made me comfortable about everything. Like, all my visits and follow up after the surgery, because after a surgery, you down for so long. My mom came and she took care of me for about a month or so. She stayed because I couldn't really do nothing. But he would call and send messages, and it was real. It made it real comfortable for me. Even returning back to work, everything was just smooth. So yeah, I had a male doctor that I was very, very comfortable with, and his communication was everything, because I was so afraid. I was scared. But that was my first surgery, so he made it so comfortable for me. And like I said, if I would ever have to do it again, I probably would go to Vegas and find him.
There you go.
But he was amazing. Dr. John Fitz. Yeah.
Good. Having a doctor that has excellent bedside manner is imperative.
It's everything.
In the care afterwards as well, because then that they're not just looking at you as just another one. You know what I mean? Taking that time. We're going to open it up. We got 4 minutes left. So those that are in our chat, do you guys have any questions for Miss Minyette Young or for Jersey Girl in regards to fibroids? We open it up. I'm going to read some of y'all comments in here. Miss Lady Donna Cox said, this is good conversation. She had to have a partial hysterectomy because she bled so heavy. Yeah, it's definitely.
It gets serious. I mean, it really does get serious. And I think what women don't think about is the more blood you lose, the weaker you become.
Yes.
That's the thing. So yeah, we get it.
Yeah, and then for you saying that yours was over a long time frame too, like
about 3 months. About 3 months.
Ooh, yeah, I mean, so therefore anemia just nonstop.
Yeah, my blood level I think your functioning blood level was supposed to be like a 12 or 13, something like that. I had got down like to a 2 or 3. So I was barely functioning. I had to get transfusion and, all type of stuff to keep myself going every day. But yes, my blood levels was almost gone.
Wow. So thank God that you were able to get the care that you needed. You were able to, get in with the doctor. So guys, highly, highly recommend finding a doctor that encourages you in researching and supporting you in your decision of what you are going to have happen with your body, making that the best possible decision for you. Because like Minyette said, that she chose myomectomy. Whereas I had the ablation. My mother had her tubes tied, and then my grandmother had a hysterectomy.
Wow.
And so it's been, a family history of things going on with the reproductive organs and things like that. So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in this evening. And of course, I want to see because I'm loving that shirt that you're wearing there, Miss Minyette Young.
Oh, it's just a Jersey Girl cozy knee. It's just a little bling bling for the people.
Well, now I'm loving that shirt now.
You thought I wasn't gonna wear my shirt on the cozy knee? Yes, ma'am.
I'm so glad.
I love
It
it.
would be tongue in cheek if I did it.
You already know. Thank you so much for having me. This is
Thank you
great.
guys
This is
so much.
awesome. I really appreciate your platform, Yolanda.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you so much for coming on. And so, guys, let's go ahead and clap it up for Miss Minyette Young. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. And thank you guys so much for tuning in to Jersey Girl to Cozy Niche. And make sure that y'all tune in next week because, baby, we got more stuff to talk about. So, Minyette, how do we typically end this, honey?
We normally do something similar like this. Can you show me? Hold on. Do we cross over? Okay.
Yeah, you can cross over.
Okay.
Jersey Girl Cozy Niche. Thank you guys so much for rocking out with us. Make sure that you hit that bell, the notification bell, so that way you can be notified every single time I go live or upload a new video. Because the YouTube channel is where you get your steak, potatoes, desserts, and